That's the cave that's had the most focus. And do you want to know how we sort of found it or how it grew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One question I want to ask is, while we got that map up, this is all area that the red line is all area of cave you've mapped in this.
That's all pretty accurately surveyed. Yeah.
So in terms of like the distance, how far are we talking here? How far? What's the sort of the length of the cave?
If this was an updated map, which I'm afraid it's not, it's a couple of years old. It's gone a bit further now.
Yeah.
The total system length is, I've got it here, it's 19,883 feet. So 6,060 meters is the whole system. Yeah.
I mean, that's a substantial system.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know of anything longer in Southeast Asia. It's possible there is, and people are being quiet about it. Because we were in the beginning, when we started to realize this was a good one, we just like shut up for fear that somebody else would go down there and just kind of try and jump in and upset the villagers and get us all thrown out. And we had kind of too much invested in it by that point for that kind of sort of silly thing to happen. Yeah. And there were signs of it. The only other person in that general area at the time was Bruce from Thailand.
Yep.
And he completely understood. And he said, hey, I know exactly where you're coming from. I'm not going to go near it. And he was really professional about that and said, no, that one's yours. It's under exploration. I'm not going to try and mess it up. And so he was great. But you don't know who else is going to go and try. And the local guys are a little bit touchy. There's some long stories in there too, but we've had some issues with them, and it's taken a bit of a while to get access back. And we just didn't want that to happen until we knew what was what.
So is the cave, is it now fully explored? Is it the end of the line here? Or
it's not. No, every one of these lines where they end is still going.
And are there any, I mean, Nestor's sink is obviously an exit or entrance.
Let me say. The first, I want to get it right. That's why I interrupted you.
Yeah.
What we found first, or went into first, was this one called Beta.
Yeah.
Is that maybe better? All right, which is a riverhead. And that is a resurgence of the whole system, it turns out. At the time, we had no idea there was a connection. But Beta was one of the first sort of good caves that we found here in diving terms. It's very large inside, much bigger than the visibility, so it's difficult to navigate. But it quite quickly went to 40 meters and then dived down again, not far in. 500-600 feet in, a couple of hundred meters in, it was getting very, very deep indeed. And that's what forced us to go find some helium and get it down there. It was a bit of an effort, but it was done. But because of the way that was going and because of the team we had at the time, exploration sort of stopped there for a bit until we got people like Gideon down, who was obviously, to operate in those conditions efficiently, you need people that are quite high level. Yeah. And Stephen Gideon did some big pushes there in a couple of years later. But in the meanwhile, one day when I was sort of sitting on the bank waiting for them to get out of the water, this old guy, Nestor, came up to me and he said, oh, I've got a cave on my land and I think you might like to see it. So I was like, all right, they're going to be another 2 hours. Let's go and have a look. And we hiked over to this place. And I'd like to get out of this and show you what it looks like.
Yep.
Screen sharing, I'll have to go back to it. Again. Nestor's is, that one will do it. This is one of the first shots of going to Nestor's. It's just this puddle, right? It really is only about like 4 or 5 meters across, and that's it. And
that's Ralph and Steve, I guess, right?
That's Ralph and Steve, I think in 2010, right? And they
Steve looking very happy there about having to get
right.
Should I go in or not?
Nothing, yeah. And anyway, they went in because we were there already, and the other cave had gone too deep to do anything more with it. And they went in, and they didn't come out for like an hour and a half. The bubbles just disappeared, and off they went. And everybody's, where have they gone? What's going on with that? Because the guys knew there was a hole in the bottom of it, but of course they just swimming in it. That's all. So I think they did a 1,500 foot, like a 500 meter dive on the first try, which that had never happened before. And And if I remember rightly, that was it, right? Because we didn't expect that to happen. Then we had no more cave line and had to go home. That was really it. You can't buy cave line in Samar, and it was all in the cave now. So that was a cock up. But that's what Nestor's looks like.